Hi, I'm James and welcome to today's review. Today we're looking at Zvezda's 1/100th or 15mm US 155mm self-propelled howitzer, the M109A2. Now the 109's gone through quite a variation over the years. This is quite a useful model because it's highly appropriate for those who play things like Team Yankee. It's set in that sort of time frame. It's not something I use a lot because I tend to game using the 7 Days to the River Rhine rules, where this wouldn't usually appear on the table. However, it makes a nice little objective for a small scale skirmish game. It's also good for your Twilight 2000 gamer or something like that. So let's have a look what we've got. I've got a nice illustration on the box cover there, obviously set somewhere in the Middle East when you look at that. We've got the built model at the back, complete with the flag from the Art of Tactic game, which I'm going to be leaving off. So let's have a look what we've got. So we've got the transfers for the numbers 0 to 9 twice. Okay, and we've also got 2 of the chevrons that were used as recognition. So that's not bad. I'd have liked to have seen more numbers. It's a bit annoying that the Russian kit, for example, has 6 sets. This has only got 2. We've got the instruction leaflet. Okay, nice and straightforward. As ever, it's not a massively detailed kit as Zvezda. This is actually a simple gaming model. And then we've got the parts. They're moulded in a nice hard plastic. It's a tan colour. So let's have a look what we've got on the sprues. So we've got the whole top. Now that's unusual for Zvezda. We've actually got a machine gun, an M2, very nicely detailed. Even got the barrel carrying handle underneath. We've got the rear of the vehicle. We've got the sides and suspension. We've got the spades for digging in. We've got the skeleton that they like to use that basically helps hold everything together. Something very small there. Let's have a look what part that is in a minute. We'll see what that is. We've then got the main piece. We've got the remainder, the base of the hull. We've got 2 very nice track sections. I'm just looking at the track detail. Track detail simplified but very nice. The wheels look very good. We've got the rear, I think that's from the turret. We've got an internal brace for the turret. A second set of spades, and I'll talk about them in a minute. We've got the turret, top and bottom. We've got the gun, and we've got 2 travel locks. Now something I like with this kit is you actually have the option to build it in different ways. That's a first, I think, for Zvezda. I've never seen a Zvezda kit which actually includes that. So what we'll do, we'll start putting it together and we'll see what we get. I'm just looking at that part. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it looks like it's an option piece. Ah, I see now what it is. That little piece I couldn't identify is an option on the commander's hatch. So we've got the option of having it either with or without the machine gun. That's a nice touch. You've got the mounting but no gun. I don't think I've ever seen that in a model before. So 10 out of 10 for that. So we'll start by building up the hull. That's the skeleton for it. If you ever built a Zvezda model before, you'll know that Zvezda are very keen on having like internal bracing, which helps basically hold everything together. They're very keen on that, and I think it does work nicely. They've obviously designed these as gaming models, not as something that you would just use on a display. Having said that, you could use them on a display. I've got no 2 doubts on that. So let's have a look. Now that's good. It's keyed, so it will only go in one way. I always like it when things are keyed. Now, does it go? Which way up does it go? Long or points? The points don't really tell you on there. That's helpful. That still feels wrong, so it must go that way up. Should we get those lined up? And there we go. Cubit the cat is trying his usual. I want to be in on the video. Okay, so there's only so many ways this will go, and we've tried every variation to get to the one that actually does fit. Yes, Cubit, I know. You want to be a YouTube star. You've been watching Finn the dog on the Tank Museum. I know what you're like. So, well, he may pop into the video in a minute. He hops up on the table sometimes. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. We'll see what sort of mood he's in. You'd never believe that before I do these videos I make sure he's been fully fed, he's got water, he's got clean litter, and he still decides that he's going to come and pester me. So again, line this up so that they fit. Okay, that's pushing in quite easily. Zvezda are very good, they are push fit models. If you're not keen on just push fitting, there's nothing wrong with gluing them. I usually do, but just when I'm building them for a video, I think it's sometimes worth just seeing how well they fit together without the glue, so it gives us an idea for people who are doing it without. Can I get the right part number? So I need a front hull. Where's the front hull? E16. Was the one I thought it was there, but one of those things always worth checking. Which way up does it go? Yeah, there we go, we've got the headlights, that gives me the clue. Pushes on nicely. One of the few times you actually see headlights on a kit like this. Quite frequently they're missing, so I'm quite impressed by that. Well, they're massively simplified. These are simplified, but not hugely. So looking at the level of detailing as we're doing this, there's plenty of detail on there. It's not the most recessed of details. When I start looking at things like hatches, you can see where they are, but they're not hugely recessed. That would still dry brush quite nicely, I think. We'll have to find out in a minute. So we've got that together. Let's have a look. I'll do the turret in a minute. I'll finish the hull first. To be honest, most of the time with the Zvezda model you can almost pretty much ignore the instructions. This one would have confused with the alternative parts, I will be honest. So there's the main hull. We'll add the tracks to it. So we've got the sprocketed wheel, goes to the rear, I believe. Quick look at the box illustration. No, it's at the front, my apologies. Please don't listen to me. Don't want you to build it wrong like I usually do, but we'll see actually again, just like they usually do, have they actually set them up so that they can't be fitted the wrong way. I'm guessing, knowing Zvezda, they probably have, because they are very good for that. Okay, so we've got two pins this time, but the way they're set, they're not on the two ends of the wheel. So two end wheels, so it can only go on the one way. That's a clever concept. You've only got that one. So the track detail is looking good. I just realised you actually do have more holes. I thought it was just two, but there's actually four. So that's going to give a really solid setup. There we go. That's gone on really smoothly. So nice little model hull. So let's start with the turret then. So the turret has got the internal bracing as well. Now I like the touch that you have the option of elevating or depressing the weapons on it. That's always a good start. It's more important, I think, on an artillery than on anything else. But it does, I think, in this one add to the model. Even though I'm not a big fan of actually doing it during gaming. So when this goes on, we need to make sure we've got the two little pins to the rear, because that will be used to put the turret rear on. Very easy sort of mistake to make. So what else have we got? We've got the main gun. We've captured the main gun nicely. We've got a muzzle brake and everything on there. Quite a nice muzzle brake. Depending on how I feel, I might drill the end out on that just to get a nice look. So when it goes on, we need to ensure that we get the mount the right way round. Quite easy to do if you look at the box illustration. I'm just looking, will it go the other way? Yeah, unfortunately it will. That's not perfect, but then again, something like this, it's always going to be a potential issue. So that then just slots on there. That's all held in place. So I think even if I was gluing this, I wouldn't actually glue that piece. So I've got that. Let's put the rear on the turret. It's captured the stowage boxes and everything nicely there. There's a lot of detail on them. Little details like that can make a big difference on a model. Obvious which way it goes on. That's not a bad fit actually. That's quite smooth fit. You wouldn't actually notice that was a separate piece except from certain angles. So we've now got the actual vehicle mainly assembled, apart from now the optional pieces. So we have the option of having it in a firing position or a travelling position. I'm a gamer, it's going into the firing position. So we'll put the turret hatch on. This is the first time I think in a Zvezda kit I've actually seen a separate hatch. So that slots on, giving the gun mount as well. And given the fact they've actually put a gun mount on, I think we're going to have to put the gun on it, because I think that is such a beautifully manufactured piece. I'm going to cut it in half. One thing I always like with Battlefront is the way they give you the extra machine guns. Quite useful sometimes if you're building other manufacturers like Zvezda. Normally, like I say, it doesn't have the gun on it, but that is a beautifully detailed M2 HB. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go for the firing options, which is A23 and 24. So that's this. So it's the biggest number of parts I've ever seen in a Zvezda kit as well. Usually I think the highest I've seen would be about 17, something like that. Usually they're about sort of 13, 14 as standard. To get this all the way up to 23 is quite high. So these go on, and again another nice simple push on part. Get it the right way around. Okay, just try to make sure I get that right. That feels like it's got a double peg, unless that's just going to the side. A little bit more fiddly. Oops, there goes the machine gun. A little bit more fiddly to get on than normal, but I think worth the effort. They probably would definitely benefit from being fixed on. Machine gun back on. Yeah, for tabletop use I think I definitely need to glue these. Nice gun mount actually. Better than most you see. In fact, what I'm going to do, because I think I'm going to break that if I'm not careful. So what I'm going to do is take that piece off, mount the gun on it, and then put it on. That's getting better. Go back on. I knew I was going to do that. This is why glue is probably going to get used. So this is actually a lot more fiddly than most Zvezda kits. So I think with this one, it's not one I'd give to a child to build. I know most of the Zvezda kits are simple enough. My grandson, who's 10, builds them quite happily. But I just think this one, little bit more fiddly, and that just leaves the barrel lock. which is going to be in the down position. So where does that fit? If it's on the hull front. And there goes the spade again. Yep, Qubit is definitely wanting to get involved today. So there we go. We've got that nicely assembled. So what I'll do is have a look at that. We'll get that onto the turntable and you can see what it looks like. So here's the finished model, assembled, painted. The only modification I've done to it is I've modified the end of the barrel, drilled it out, just used a craft knife for that. That just adds a little bit to it. Now you'll notice I've not painted it up as American, I've painted it up as British. The M109A2 was very widely used. It was used across a wide range of countries. I think most of NATO seem to have used it at one point or another. It's a really nice model. I love the alternative positions for it, with the gun locked down and the spades up, or the firing position as I've got it here. I think that's brilliant. The detail on it is very nice. Occasionally it's a bit simplistic, but for tabletop use it's lovely. It looks good enough for that, which is all I worry about with it. The only thing I'd say with it at the minute is don't buy it. At the minute, obviously there is the war in the Ukraine, and Zvezda being a Russian company, I don't feel that I can buy their models. I like it and I think it's brilliant, and once everything is resolved, then yes, I probably will buy more of them. I'll probably buy enough to put a small battery on the table, but at the minute I can't justify buying them. The Zvezda models I've got, I'm building from the stocks I've got. Once they're all built up, I won't be buying any more Zvezda in the near future. So hopefully that's been useful for you. Please let me know in your comments, and I'll see you soon for another review.